Legend Total War here, and today we've got a Rate Your Doomstack video covering a Khemrian War Sphinx Doomstack. And there is a lot of information here that we need to process to rate this army and this particular situation. This is not the ideal rating scenario, but anyway. So what we've got here are 16 Khemrian War Sphinxes. We've got a Necrotect, we've got 2 Lich Priests, which I don't recommend putting 2 Lich Priests in this army. So we've got one of Nehekara and one of Light. I don't think they complement each other particularly well here. And what we're going up against here is probably one of the most absurd amounts of force that we've ever really had to deal with, period. So we've got Teclis in command of a Silverin Guard / Phoenix Doomstack. There are 5 Phoenixes in here, including himself, 4 of which are Arcane Phoenixes, one of which is the Omen of Asuryan, and a Flamespire Phoenix, plus a Sun Dragon. That's honestly the least of our concerns. And then we've got down here armies from Bretonnia, which will come in at the same time. The infantry are no concern, but he's got Grail Knights, Grail Guardians, Royal Pegasus Knights, Royal Hippogriff Knights, and just a bit more coming in from the reinforcing armies there. So here are some of the issues with this. This battle is basically impossible to win. For one thing, his heroes here have no equipment on them. This is Thutep of the 3rd Dynasty, who is not a good commander for Khemrian War Sphinxes. You actually should have a disciplined dude, because what Thutep does is provide 5 extra armor for Khemrian War Sphinxes and Necro Sphinxes, which 5 extra armor is shit by comparison to 2 extra melee attack and 2 leadership. Like, it's not a huge extra bonus, but it's better than 5 armor, because most of these units are armor piercing anyway, so his bonus is completely lost. He doesn't have Lightning Strike, even though they're attacker here, and because he's in camp stance, he's going to be even stronger on top of his already incredibly strong army. Anyway, let's just jump into the battle here, and we will proceed to lose it, but we'll rate how the army does. Now, I would say that there would be just about no army in the game. Not no army. There are very few armies in the game that can handle dealing with this kind of situation here, just because of how much you got to deal with. Like, 4 armies. This is the thing to think about as well. A very a rare situation to be in, a very bad situation that you should avoid at all costs. The more forces that the enemy can bring into the battlefield at any given time, the worse your results will be. So normally, if you're going up against one faction and they bring, let's just say they bring 4 armies, right? They can only bring 40 of those units to the battlefield at a time. But if you bring 21 units, as in just having 1 general in reserve or something, you can deny those reinforcements or just slow them down by not controlling a large army. That means that it'll be 20 versus 20. Now that works on a faction-to-faction basis. So if we were just up against the High Elves and they had 2 armies, well then they could bring 40 units on the battlefield at any given time. If they had 4 armies, well they could still only bring 40 units and the other units will come in as reinforcements. But if there are 2 factions you're dealing with, each faction can bring in 40 units. So we're dealing with 20 units from the High Elves and 40 units from Bretonnia, 60 units in total. Now the thing is, any unit in the game, no matter how strong it is, can get overwhelmed. And when they get overwhelmed, they take leadership penalties and they fall to pieces. And the problem here is that that's the situation. Now they're faster than us as well, so using our guys to skirmish, we don't have the advantage there. Basically, this army has no advantages in this particular situation. So what he's done in this situation is that he's designed a reasonably good army with some flaws and put it up against an enemy to which all of the strengths of this army goes completely to waste, making it very difficult to rate. Now, it's very important that if you're going to send in a Doomstack, that you don't send it up against something weak. Like, a lot of people send their Doomstacks in against, like, Warriors of Chaos, because Warriors of Chaos have lots of armies to begin with, but also they're rubbish armies. They're just full of melee infantry. Even if they're chosen, it's very easy to deal with them. Or they go up against, like, 4 armies of Dread Spears, right? Those are not acceptable positions. But then there's the other extreme, where you go up against so much that the army that we're bringing to the battlefield, sort of like, remember with the Dreadsaurian Doomstack, we were up against so much that we couldn't really utilize them very well, and it doesn't make those armies weak, it just means that those particular situations were harder than others. And then there's also situations such as the Branch Raised Doomstack, which you know, there was a little bit of criticism on that because I gave it a relatively low score, despite the fact it beat 3 full stack armies. And some people were just wondering, why would you rate something that won against 3 full stack armies so low? And the thing to keep in mind is that when I rate an army, I'm not rating it just on its ability to do battle. Because an army's ability to do battle is important, and most of the rating goes into that, but that's not everything. You also need to take into consideration the cost, and everything has a different cost. So for example, there could be upkeep cost, but there's also cost in terms of items being used, generals being used, unique heroes being used, or just hero capacity. So in the case of Wood Elves, where you have a limited number of branch wraiths, putting 12 branch wraiths in one army, I felt was frivolous and would weaken all the other armies that you could potentially recruit. And in the case here, putting 2 Lich Priests in one army is also frivolous, and I don't think you should have done that, because you only get like 8 or 9, and the Tomb Kings can get about 21 armies. So that means you've put two wizards in this one army. There's going to be so many armies that just aren't going to have a wizard thanks to this. And the problem with it as well is that putting in a second wizard in this particular situation isn't going to save us. Like, having 2 different laws of magic, it's not going to matter. We don't have... And you didn't equip them many items, so I can't generate enough magic anyway. Like, if they had Wands of Jet or even the Forbidden Rod, and they could generate a lot more wins, that would maybe be okay, but I think it would have been better for campaign-wise. Well, why not weaken the army, take out this Lich Priest here, and put in another Khemrian War Sphinx, because the more War Sphinxes that you have, the more that you can sort of spread out the damage done to each one of them, which is also one of the reasons why I rated the Branch Wraith army badly, because there was only 6, well 7 if you include Coadil, only 7 tree men, and they all took a ton of damage, whereas the branch wraiths, because they're so small, they weren't being targeted. If we had more tree men, we could have spread out the damage a lot more, and also allowed the battle to go on for longer, so we could have gotten more casting done, which is again one of the reasons why that army was rated fairly lowly. I maybe didn't make that perfectly clear in that situation, but reason why I'm going to explain this in this case here, 7 minutes before we start the battle, because we are going to lose this battle. There is no way we can win it. But I am going to give this army a high score. And it's going to be confusing for people when there's been armies that have won battles with heroic victories that have gotten low scores, and armies that have lost battles, decisive defeats, and I'm going to give it a high score. Because there's different things you got to take into consideration. This is one of the hardest armies you can possibly go up against. The Dark Elf army that we went up against in the Branch Wraith army, honestly, we could have beaten that with like 1 Lord if you have a wizard, a flying wizard. There was just so much melee infantry in that, and there was like no phoenixes or anything like that. Like, you can't understate just how strong phoenixes are. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. Anyway, battle begins in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. All right, let's do this. But there's just a lot to take into consideration here. So, but yeah, 100%, this battle can't be won. But we'll just do the best we can. So first thing we want to do, just take out as many of these as possible. So I've already fought this battle a couple of times, and this is the best I've come up with so far. Is take out these guys. They don't stick around. And hopefully what will end up happening is 1 Phoenix will charge over there. Maybe. Okay, cool. That's done. And then start moving over this way. And if... No, they backed off. Sometimes they do... Oh, hang on, no, hang on. Maybe. Yeah, if 1 Phoenix comes over here, you can use it. I'm going to take them off fire at will. Use it to isolate it from the rest of the Phoenixes and take this out early. Alright, get it over here. Gotta make sure that they take the bait. If I start running away too soon, they'll back off. They've got to take the bait. See, once they're close, they're like, oh, I'm so close to the bait, I'm not going to give up now. That's exactly what you want. Because the biggest problem in this battle here is just being outnumbered. That's really it. Individually, our units are stronger than any one of theirs. But we're just outnumbered by such a huge degree that they can't dish out the damage fast enough. Alright, I could cast a spell here. Probably a Barona's Time Warp would be best. Just because we want to damage this unit as quickly as possible. Ideally as well, it'd be good to get it off the battlefield. Arcane Phoenixes are doubly fucking annoying because even if you kill them, sometimes they kill one of your own units. When they explode. Can happen, doesn't always happen, but just get it off the battlefield one way or another. Alright, it died, and yeah, look at that. Look how much damage it did. Luckily it didn't kill it. It's very difficult to dodge that too. Alright, let's get moving. Alright, so Techless is doing stuff. That's a lot of damage onto this one. Alright, if we stick together, we can heal a bit every now and again. So yeah, if we can manage to take out their Phoenixes early, that would be ideal. Because I can't stress enough how annoying the Phoenixes are when everyone else gets here. Phoenixes on their own aren't that dangerous, but when it's basically the Phoenix infantry combo when you're being outnumbered that does it. Because when there's other units in the way, you can't properly target the Phoenixes. And so they act really tanky, and it's very easy for them to just slip them through your lines because they're small. The size of the Phoenix is one of the... Oh, wow. That's unusual. You don't see the AI do that very often. Might get back over here. It's level 39 Techless. The rest of these forces aren't here. If you want to come at me, now would be good. Come at me, bro. Are you gonna come? No, they're not coming. Keep moving then. Alright, fire at will. Just keep moving. Maybe they'll back off. Maybe. No, don't have to fight them. Alright, keep that one back. Luckily, the Bretonnians are lagging behind. This is probably the best I've seen so far, just because the AI has been really stupid. Because usually they come at us all at the same time. And the fact that we took out the Arcane Phoenix nice and early, that's really good. Alright, we need a Barona's Time Warp up in here. Don't let that... Phoenix got away. Don't worry about using the Net of Amantok here to keep them in place. They'll come back. Okay, let's pop one of these down there, maybe, if we could just stand still for a few seconds. Alright, that banishment was meh. Yeah, it didn't do much. Got another Arcane Phoenix over here is getting cocked. I mean, our army's getting fucked as well. You get back over here. Alright, I've also got this. I think it'd be best to use against the Silver Guard because they are quite heavily anti-large. Come on, get out of there. Get over here. This Phoenix over here is going down. The fact that Bretonnians are still just sitting there, that's so unusual, but really good. And yet, we're still probably going to lose the battle. Okay, we've killed a second Arcane Phoenix, really, really good. Techless has taken some damage. If you can get into combat with their missile units, that'd be good. Alright, let's get a Barona's Time Warp down. Oh, get away from me there. So yeah, the buff spells are actually really good here. And also, let's get one of these down. really debuff them as much as possible, especially Techless. Okay, how are we going here? Try to keep that one alive as long as possible. No one's died yet. So yeah, our army can beat the High Elf army. We might actually win this. Just because this is the first time I fought this where the Bretonnians didn't do anything. Maybe I bored them into submission with my initial... Oh shit. Get him out of there. He's kind of stuck though. I don't think I'm going to get him out. Hang on. Can you hold that? No, you won't. No, he's gone. Just took damage too quickly and they get stuck. Oh well. They're all immortal, so that's okay. Bit of a shame though. Just have to eat that charge from the Phoenix here. Get rid of the Omen of Asurian, that'd be really good. And Techless is almost gone. That'd actually be the first time I actually took out Techless. And so far only the Necrotech has fallen. Might just save up the wins for a little bit. Best to use Arcane Conduit all at the same time. Techless is almost gone. Okay, we took out Techless. That's really good. Okay, this is the strongest start I've done so far. Largely because Bretonnia is being a horrible ally. But that actually means that in this case here, we can actually properly test the durability of this army. Because this is what makes it super strong, right? You go into a fight, and you just keep popping this ability down, you keep healing, and as long as you can keep doing that, you gain balance of power. Even if the original balance of power was horribly against you, like in this case here. Okay, everybody stop firing. All the units that we needed to kill that way have been dealt with, and they still haven't activated. Because normally when I've been in this fight here, imagine that fight that we just had, plus all of those coming at us at the same time. And we just got lucky in this one, and that they just decided to do that. And I don't know why they did that. Okay, need to get everyone together so we can get some heals in. Yeah, they're coming at us now. Alright, just send everybody to fight this. Actually, make it the Omen of Asurian. Everyone get over there so we can pop this down. Everybody needs to be there so we can all get the heals. In preparation for the Bretonnian. I'm far less concerned about the Bretonnian forces than I was against the High Elves. It was really all about the Phoenixes, and with the Phoenixes just about all gone now. Come on, everybody's got to get in here. With the Phoenixes all gone, that will be a big relief. That doesn't mean we've won straight away, but it gives me hope. There we go, everybody gets some heals in. And the Phoenix is gone. That's good. I don't think we lost anyone on that. Not being able to use the Realm of Souls is no big deal. Like, one temporary Ushabti isn't going to make a difference in this kind of battle. Alright, that is basically the High Elf forces gone. They're still dicking around. Good. This will give us time to heal. Alright, don't need to cast any magic right now. Alright, just stay put. The High Elf army is beaten. If they want to do that, that's fine. Let's get some healing in. Let them come in. And just wait. With 480 per unit, that's several thousand hit points over, maybe tens of thousands of hit points across the entire army. That Life Wizard can't do anything to us. So just wait. Alright, now they're coming. That's okay. If I can get another heal in, great. It's like I was saying before. Dealing with 40 units, spread out over a certain amount of time is way, 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 way easier than dealing with 40 units at the same time. Same thing applies with 60. Now, we've still got 2 full stacks here to deal with, but these were far less of a concern than the high elves, and all of the phoenixes are gone now. And now we can really show off how these guys can be quite good. As long as they don't get completely overwhelmed, which is the case of every army. No army in this game can handle dealing with like 4 full stacks coming at them at the same time that's like really good units. Like if it's 4 full stacks of infantry, that's nothing. It doesn't count for shit. Bringing in flying units, phoenixes, single entities, that kind of stuff, they're the most dangerous units in the game, not infantry. Which is why, again, I didn't rate the Branch Wraith one that highly, because there were monsters, but it was mostly infantry. Okay. Let's try to stay away from their infantry. We still haven't guaranteed a win yet. Also, the longer the battle can go on, the more healing we can get done. Ensuring that some of these guys actually might survive the battle. Yeah, shame about the Necrotect. They are a bit squishy, which is usually why I like to get a Sack City going for them. Get them up to rank 20 before I even attach them into a proper army, just because they do have a tendency of getting targeted. Might have helped if you actually gave the guys some equipment. Give them some resistances. Alright, okay, let's shoot. But yeah, let's just try to stay away from their infantry. It's fine to fight their cavalry. Fight their cavalry first, then their infantry. Alright, another Barona's Time Warp coming up. Actually not yet, just wait, because this isn't too heavy of a fight. Just yet. Just wait for more of them to come over here. Okay, let's go. And we can debuff them with this. Oh, this guy here's getting wrecked. Get him out. Alright, let's debuff. No, not yet, not yet. Just waiting for more of them to come in here so we can affect more of them. Now. Right, now we've also... I've already used that, okay. Looks like we're actually going to win. I said, we are not going to win this. That's because I already fought this battle a bunch of times, trying to find a way to do exactly this. Get them to not attack us all at the same time. Not coordinate with each other. I didn't think I could get them to do it, but then they just did it on their own. Nothing I did. Alright, can we get another bonus Time Warp? Alright, might be a good... No, I don't have enough wins. Actually, you know what? Use this spell here, because it's good against... poorly armored troops. Alberic's almost down. This guy here is still hanging on. Yeah, like I said, 2 armies of Bretonnia is way easier to deal with just 1 army of High Elves. The High Elves were way more of a threat. Looks like that went the wrong way. Got it. Yeah, it didn't do much. Alright, you've got to stick together, guys. Get over here. Stick together. Absolutely crucial that they oh shit. Trying to let anyone get killed if we can avoid it. But this is the reason why we want to keep them all together, so we can get those heals in constantly. Like that 480 health is a lot. And also, it makes these vortex spells a lot more powerful. Yeah, that was a good one. 100 kills. Good. This is completely useless in this situation, if you're wondering. It's actually better to not use it than to waste it. And there we go, we actually won. But I'm not going to take credit for this victory. We won it because the AI derped out, not because of any particular tactic. I mean, I did the exact same thing I did a dozen times in this fight, and it only worked this time because Bretonnia didn't back up the High Elves. That was it. Now it comes down to rating it. So, it's a shame about the Necrotech, but you know, that happens, and he'll be back. He's immortal. And yeah. If given the opportunity to like, if you could deny their forces, deny their reinforcements, and stagger the enemy going on, this army here has a lot of stamina. As long as it doesn't have to take on too much at once, which is one of its major strengths. Because it's got a lot of possible regeneration. It's got a high health pool. They do a lot of damage. They can take out Phoenixes as long as they're not overwhelmed. And they can manage. But I've seen them take a crushing defeat on the, well, not crushing, like decisive defeat there, because dealing with all of their forces. So, in terms of rating it, here are the strengths and weaknesses of this army. 2 wizards, weakness. These guys here, you're not going to get them until the late campaign, like a full stack of them, just because increasing the capacity for them just takes forever. Tomb Kings grow really slowly, getting 16 of them. I mean, you can get the Necrotechs to help boost it a little bit, but you're probably looking at the earliest around turn 150, maybe a little bit earlier than that, before you can get a full stack of them in the game in its current state. Strengths revolve around like, you should get a disciplined Lord instead of Thutep. Thutep's not the right dude to use. Loads of stamina, they're good against everything, again, as long as they're not going up against too much overwhelming force. So I'm going to rate this army 9 out of 10. Actually, no, I'm going to rate 8.5 out of 10, because there shouldn't be this wizard in the army, this one here. And this one's the wrong one. And you know what? It's not really as strong as other 10 out of 10s in the army. So I think you could get this to 9 out of 10 if you had put equipment on your troops and take one of the Lich Priests out, I don't really care, whichever, and put in one more Khemrian War Sphinx instead. That way you can send the wizard off to one of your other armies, because if you're playing as Tomb Kings, right, you've got so many capacity for armies. Well, you really haven't unlocked that many. You can unlock way more than that by this point. Yeah, you should spread your wizards out among other armies. Like, you shouldn't ever put all of your wizards in one army, unless you're just using it to train them up. So yeah, 8.5 for this, potentially going up to 9 out of 10. Definitely, I don't think there's any way to make it a 10 out of 10 army. Very strong army, good army. Highly recommended if you've got the capacity in the late campaign to get a Khemrian War Sphinx Doomstack. Quite enjoy doing it. Just watch out for that situation there. And if you're going to be the attacker, it is actually good to get Lightning Strike on your lords if you're going to have one of these kind of Doomstacks, because that could very easily just wipe out your whole army. And while you could just re-recruit it for free, it's downtime, and they could get some progress on you. Anyway, that's the end of this one. I hope a lot of the explanations that I've made here help to clarify some of the ratings. It's not just their ability to win a battle that I rate them on, it's also the wider picture, how much they're costing and what the effects they have on the campaign map. Low cost armies will be rated higher than high cost armies, or be given more leniency, just because they're not taxing on your resources. Or if you're able to mass produce them, then they'll be given a higher rating, such as Sisters of Avalon Doomstacks as an example. They're in on itself not particularly strong, but they're able to be mass produced, and for their cost they're extremely strong. Whereas the Branch Wraith Doomstack, again, to bring a note to that one, you can't mass produce that. And by doing that, you're weakening other armies in your faction. So, hence why it lost points. So I hope that makes a bit more sense. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.